Okay, this is chapter number 10, Light of class 10th. So, this I have divided in 3 videos. In the first part, we will study about laws of reflection, about the spherical mirrors, then terms related to spherical mirrors, then the image formed by a concave mirror when the object is placed at different positions. So, let's start with this is the part 1. Let's start with the first topic of part 1 of this chapter. Okay, the first topic is laws of reflection. Now, what is meant by reflection? Reflection means whenever light falls on a highly polished surface like a mirror, it changes its direction and goes back in the same medium. Okay, it doesn't go into the other medium, it goes back in the same medium. It changes its direction and goes back in the same medium whenever the light strikes a highly polished surface like a mirror. So this phenomenon we call it as reflection. Okay, now let MM dash is a plane mirror. MM dash is the surface of a plane mirror. Let us consider a point over here where the light is incident. So this point O is called as the point of incidence. So at this point, the ray of light is incident. Which ray? Let us consider it to be AO. So AO is called as the incident ray. At this point of incidence, we draw one perpendicular to the surface of the mirror. This perpendicular NO is called as the normal. Why? Because it is drawn normal to MM dash surface. Okay, now after reflection, this ray of light returns back in the same medium by changing its direction. So, it is reflected along OB. So, this OB is called as the reflected ray. So, here O is the point of incidence, AO is the incident ray, OB is the reflected ray and ON is the normal. And this angle which is between the incident ray and the normal, this angle is called as the angle of incidence. And the angle which is formed between the normal and the reflected ray, this angle is called as angle of reflection. Now the two laws of reflection are, the first law is the angle of incidence is always equal to angle of reflection. Whether this surface is a plane surface, the mirror is a plane mirror, or it is a curved mirror, which we call it as a spherical mirror. So it is true for all the types of mirrors, whether it's a plane mirror or a spherical mirror. That is a curved mirror. The angle of incidence is always equal to angle of reflection. Okay, where the angle of incidence is formed between incident ray and normal, and the angle of reflection is formed between reflected ray and normal. Now the second law states that the incident ray, the normal at the point of incidence and the reflected ray, all three rays lie on the same plane. Same plane means they can be drawn on the same surface. So incident ray, the reflected ray and the normal and the reflected ray all lie on the same plane. All lie on same plane, that is they can be drawn on the same surface. So this is the second law of the reflection. So the first law of the reflection is angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection, and the second law states that the incident ray, the normal which is drawn at the point of incidence, the reflected ray and the reflected ray, all these three rays lie on the same plane. Okay, so these are the two laws of reflection. Now let's study how are the properties of the image formed by a plane mirror. Okay, this mirror is a plane mirror. Okay, when the surface of the mirror is plane, it is called as a plane mirror. Okay, now let's study the properties of the image formed by a plane mirror. Okay, the mirror which you use it at home, that is the plane mirror. So the properties of images, properties of image formed by plane mirror. Okay, this is the plane mirror mm dash. Okay, the first property is the image formed by a plane mirror is virtual, and virtual images are always erect. The image formed by a plane mirror is virtual and the virtual images are always erect. So the image formed by a plane mirror is virtual and erect. Okay, now what is virtual image? In which the reflected rays do not actually meet. They appear to meet at a point. They are not actually meeting, they appear to meet at a point. So such an image formed is called as the virtual image, and virtual images are always erect. Now the second point is the image formed is as far behind the mirror as the object is in front of it. When you stand in front of the mirror, you see that the image is formed as far behind the mirror as the object is in front of it. That is the object distance. Object distance is the distance of the object from the mirror is equal to the image distance, and image distance is the distance of the image from the mirror. So the image is formed as far behind as the object is in front of it. Okay, then the third point is these images are equal in size to that of object. That is the size of the image. Size of image is same as that of object. Size of image is equal to the size of object. Okay, when you stand in front of the mirror, you see your image and the image is of the same size as that of you. So the size of the image formed by the plane mirror is equal to the size of the object. Then the next point is this image is laterally inverted. Now what do you mean by lateral inversion? Okay, when you stand in front of the mirror and you raise your right hand, you will see that the image will raise its left hand. Such an image in which the right hand side objects are seen on the left hand side, such an image is called as a laterally inverted image. So the image formed by a plane mirror is laterally inverted. So these are the four properties of the image formed by a plane mirror. The image is virtual and erect. Okay, that is, it is formed behind the mirror. Okay, and virtual images can never be obtained on the screen. Okay, wherever the image is formed behind the mirror, you place a white screen over there. You cannot see your image on that screen. So virtual images can never be obtained on the screen. So the image formed is virtual, and virtual images are always erect. Okay, and the image is formed as far behind as the object is in front of it, and the size of the image is equal to the size of the object, and the image is laterally inverted. That is, the right hand side objects are seen on the left side and vice versa. Okay, next we proceed to spherical mirrors. Okay, spherical mirrors are those in which the reflecting surface, that is the polished surface, is a part of a sphere. So spherical mirrors in which the reflecting surface is a part of a sphere. Such mirrors are called as spherical mirrors. Okay, now the spherical mirrors are of two types. The first one is concave mirror. It is a part of a sphere and the reflecting surface is inwards. Such a mirror we call it as concave mirror. The other type of spherical mirror is convex mirror, in which the reflecting surface is bulged out. The reflecting surface is outside. Such a mirror is called as a convex mirror. So both are spherical mirrors. So spherical mirrors in which the reflecting surface is a part of a sphere. So the inner surface is the reflecting surface. So such a spherical mirror we call it as a concave mirror, and the reflecting surface is bulged out. The reflecting surface is outwards. Such a mirror we call it as the convex mirror. So these are the two types of spherical mirrors. Now let's study some terms related to spherical mirrors. The first term is pole of the mirror. Pole of spherical mirror. The center point of the mirror, which is lying on the surface of the mirror. This center point of the mirror, which is lying on its surface, this point we call it as pole, and it is represented by capital P. So pole of the mirror is the center point of the spherical mirror. Center point of spherical mirror is called as pole of a mirror. Okay, and it is lying on the surface of the mirror. Now the second point is center of curvature. As we know that this mirror, this spherical mirror is a part of a sphere. If we complete the sphere, then it has some center. This center we call it as the center of curvature. So if we complete the sphere, it has some center. This center we call it as the center of curvature. So how can we define center of curvature? Center of curvature is the center of the sphere of which this mirror is a part. So it is the center of a sphere of which the mirror is a part, that is, mirror is a part of the sphere. So this C we call it as center of curvature, and we represent it by capital C. Okay, now here you see that the center of curvature is not lying on the surface of the mirror. The center of curvature is outside the mirror. Okay, in case of a concave mirror, it is in front of the reflecting surface, whereas in case of a convex mirror, the center of curvature lies behind the reflecting surface, that is, it is behind the mirror. So center of curvature is the center of the sphere of which this mirror is a part. Okay, then the next point is radius of curvature. Now radius of curvature is the radius of the sphere of which the mirror is a part. So it is the radius of a sphere of which the mirror is a part. This radius we call it as radius of curvature. So which distance it would be? It would be the distance from P to C, and it is represented by capital R. So this is the radius of the sphere of which this spherical mirror is a part. That is, it is the distance from P to C, which we call it as the radius of curvature, and it is represented by capital R. Then the next point is, the next term is principal axis. Principal axis is this straight line P to C when extended. This line we call it as the principal axis. Okay, here principal spells as P-R-I-N-C-I-A-P-A-L. Okay, so this straight line which is passing through the pole and center of curvature, and you can see that it is normal to the mirror at this point. So this straight line which is passing from P to C and normal to the mirror at the pole. So this line we call it as the principal axis. So it is the straight line joining from P to C, which is extended, okay, and perpendicular to, and it is perpendicular to the mirror at point P. At pole, it is perpendicular to the mirror. So this line we call it as the principal axis. Okay, now the next term is principal focus. Okay, the next term we'll discuss as principal focus. So the fifth point, principal focus. Okay, now how do we define principal focus? Whenever a parallel beam of incident light, means parallel rays, the incident rays are parallel, and let us consider that these rays are parallel to the principal axis. So when a parallel beam of incident light falls on a mirror, falls on a spherical mirror, then after reflection, they all meet at a point on the principal axis. All these are the reflected rays. So here the arrows are very important, which shows the incident ray, which shows the direction of the incident ray, and these arrows after reflection, these are representing the reflected rays. So a parallel beam of incident light, that is the parallel incident rays, and let us consider that these incident rays are parallel to the principal axis. After reflection, they all are meeting, they all are actually meeting at a point on the principal axis. This point which is lying on the principal axis is called as the principal focus. So principal focus is, this is for a concave mirror. Okay, so a parallel beam of incident light after reflection actually meets, the reflected rays actually meet at a point on the principal axis, which is called as the principal focus. Okay, now let's see in case of a convex mirror. These are the parallel incident rays, and after reflection they will be reflected along this direction. Okay, they will be reflected because this is the the bulged out surface is the reflecting surface, so they will be reflected here. After reflection, when they are extended backwards, they appear to diverge from a point. These are the actual reflected rays. These are the actual reflected rays. You see that if you extend these actual reflected rays, they will never meet here. When they are extended backwards, they appear to meet at a point on the principal axis. This point is called as the principal focus of the convex mirror. So in case of a concave mirror, after reflection, this parallel beam of incident rays which are reflected, they actually meet, whereas here they appear to diverge from a point. It is appearing as if all the rays are diverging from this point. So this point which is lying on the principal axis is called as principal focus. So we can write that a parallel beam of incident ray, a parallel beam of incident rays after reflection either actually meet at a point on the principal axis, either actually meet at a point on the principal axis. Okay, which case is this? This is in case of a concave mirror. So in the bracket you can write for, this is for a concave mirror. Or they appear to diverge from a point, or they appear to diverge from a point on the principal axis, or they appear to diverge from a point. Okay, which is in which case? In case of a convex mirror. So this point is called as the principal focus and it is represented by capital F. This principal focus is represented by capital F. Okay, now here focal length. Next is focal length. Okay, now how do we define focal length? It is the distance from the pole to the focus. The distance from pole to focus, from pole to focus is called as the, okay, this is principal focus or we may call it as focus. So the distance from pole to focus we call it as focal length and it is represented by small f. Principal focus we represent it by capital F and this distance P to F we represent it by small f. And this distance we call it as principal focus. This distance we call it as focal length. So focal length is the distance from pole to the principal focus. Okay, now let's see the relation between focal length and radius of curvature. P to C distance is the radius of curvature and P to F distance is the focal length. So the relation between focal length and radius of curvature is that focal length is half of the radius of curvature. Why? Because this focus will be the midpoint of P and C. In both the cases you can see that F will be the midpoint of P and C. So the focal length is half of radius of curvature. So if it is given that a concave mirror has a radius of curvature of 20 centimeters, what will be its focal length? It will be half of it, that is it will be 10 centimeter. So focal length is half of radius of curvature. Okay, then the next point is aperture. Aperture of the mirror. This effective diameter of the mirror, this M to M dash, if we draw a straight line, this M to M dash, which is the effective diameter of the spherical mirror. Okay, this distance M to M dash. This M to M dash we call it as aperture of the mirror. Here I will show you with the blue pen. This M to M dash, which is the effective diameter of the mirror, that we call it as the aperture of the mirror. So aperture is effective diameter of the spherical mirror, that we call it as the aperture. Okay, so these are the terms which we have studied about spherical mirror. Next we'll study about one small experiment, that is how can you find out the focal length of a concave mirror. So the experiment is that take a concave mirror and a white sheet of paper, or better you can take a carbon paper. Face this concave mirror towards the sun. Okay, face the concave mirror, the reflecting surface of the concave mirror towards the sun, and adjust the paper in such a way that you see the bright image of the sun. A bright spot can be seen on that paper, on that sheet of paper. Okay, place it for some time. You will see that after some time there will be smoke coming out from that paper. That is, the paper will start burning from that point. Why? Because all the rays of the sun will be concentrated at that point. That will be the focus of this concave mirror. So if you can measure the distance where you place the mirror and the sheet, that distance will be the focal length. So approximately the focal length could be found out by this simple experiment. How? Take a concave mirror, face the reflecting surface towards the sun, place a carbon paper or a white sheet in front of it, and adjust the paper in such a way that you can see the bright spot of the sun, the bright image of the sun on that paper. Place it for some time in the same position. You will see that the paper starts burning from that point. Why? Because all the rays of the sun will be concentrated at that point, so it starts burning. Now how can you measure the focal length? Where you place the concave mirror and where you place the sheet, because you are getting the image of the sun at that point. So this distance between the mirror and that paper is the approximate focal length. Okay, but there is a caution. Do not look at the sun directly or from this concave mirror, because your eye may be the focus and your eye may get damaged. Okay, so this is the precaution. Okay, next is image formed by a concave mirror. So before this image formation, there are some rules which you have to remember. The first rule is, whether it is a concave mirror or a convex mirror, that is in case of a spherical mirror, there are few rules which you have to remember for the image formation by a spherical mirror. The first rule is, any ray of light or a ray of light which is parallel to the principal axis, after reflection either actually passes through the focus or it appears to pass through the focus, as in case of a concave mirror. So these are the rules which you have to remember for the image formation. The first rule is, which mirror is this? Concave mirror. A ray of light which is parallel to the principal axis. After reflection, it passes through the focus. That is, the reflected ray passes through the focus in case of a concave mirror. And if it is a convex mirror, this line we call it as principal axis. A ray of light which is parallel to the principal axis, the incident ray which is parallel to the principal axis, is reflected along this direction and it appears to pass through the focus. It appears to pass through the focus in case of a convex mirror. So, the first rule, a ray of light which is parallel to the principal axis either actually passes through the focus in case of a concave mirror or appears to pass through the focus in case of a convex mirror. Now, the second rule is, a ray of light which is passing through the principal focus in case of a concave mirror, after reflection becomes parallel to the principal axis. After reflection, it becomes parallel to the principal axis. Whereas in case of a convex mirror, this is the principal axis pole. A ray of light, where is the focus? Here. So, a ray of light which is appearing to pass through the focus. Okay, it's not actually passing. Which is appearing to pass through the focus. This incident ray, it is appearing to pass through the focus. After reflection becomes parallel to the principal axis. So, the second rule is, a ray of light passing through the principal focus becomes parallel to the principal axis in case of a concave mirror. A ray of light which is appearing to pass through the focus after reflection becomes parallel to the principal axis. Now, the third rule is, a ray of light which is passing through the center of curvature. A ray of light which is passing through the center of curvature is reflected back along the same direction. Okay, that is, the incident ray is also the same, the reflected ray is also the same. Whereas in case of a convex mirror, here as the center of curvature is behind the mirror, so a ray of light which is appearing to pass through the center of curvature. Okay, so appearing means we draw dotted lines. This is the incident ray which is appearing to pass through the center of curvature. After reflection is reflected back along the same path. Okay, that is, it retraces its direction. So, this is the third rule, a ray of light passing through the center of curvature or appearing to pass through the center of curvature will retrace its path, that is, will be reflected back along the same direction. Next is the fourth rule, a ray of light which is oblique. Oblique means making some angle with the principal axis. An incident ray which is oblique to the principal axis, which is making some angle with the principal axis, will be reflected back in such a way that the angle of incidence should be equal to angle of reflection. Okay, we have already studied that. This rule is applicable whether the mirror is plane, spherical, curved, anything. So, a ray of light which is oblique to the principal axis after reflection is reflected back in such a manner that the laws of reflection are valid, that is, the angle of incidence should be equal to angle of reflection. The same way for a convex mirror, any ray of light which is oblique to the principal axis, that is, making some angle with the principal axis, will be reflected back in such a way that angle of incidence will be equal to angle of reflection. So, these are the four rules which you have to remember for the formation of the image by a concave mirror or by a convex mirror. So, the first rule is, let's revise it, a ray of light parallel to the principal axis passes through the focus in case of concave mirror. A ray of light parallel to the principal axis appears to pass through the focus in case of a convex mirror. A ray of light passing through the focus becomes parallel to the principal axis in case of concave mirror. A ray of light which is appearing to pass through the focus becomes parallel to the principal axis after reflection. A ray of light passing through the center of curvature or appearing to pass through the center of curvature will be reflected back along the same direction. And the fourth rule is a ray of light which is oblique to the principal axis, that is making some angle with the principal axis, will be reflected in such a way that the angle of incidence will be equal to angle of reflection. Okay, now following these rules, we'll draw the image formed by a concave mirror when the object is placed at different positions. So we'll place the object at different positions and we'll form the image and we'll study about the nature of the image, the size of the image and its position. So these are the 3 points which we have to study about the image formation. So image formed by concave mirror. The first position is when the object is very far away from the mirror. The first position is object very far away. Like you can consider it to be the sun. So this object can be considered to be at infinity. So the object is at infinity. Object is at infinity. So here we can draw a number of rays from the object and we'll reflect them based on these rules. Wherever these reflected rays meet, there the image will be formed. Either they will actually meet or they will appear to meet. When they actually meet, the image formed will be real. And the real images are always inverted. And when they appear to meet, then the image formed is virtual and virtual images are always erect. So we'll place the object at infinity. Okay, so this is the concave mirror. This center point we call it as the pole and this straight line is the principal axis. So you will draw the figure in such a manner that F should be the midpoint of P and C. Now the object is very far away. You can consider it to be the sun. So the object is at infinity and how are the rays from the sun coming? When they reach to the earth's surface, they become parallel to each other. So how are the incident rays? They are parallel to each other when the object is at infinity. Okay, let us consider that these incident rays are parallel to the principal axis. So the object is very far away at infinity and the incident rays coming from that object when reach to this earth's surface, that is from the sun, when reach to the earth's surface, they become parallel to each other and let us consider that these incident rays are parallel to the principal axis. Now use those rules. According to the first rule, any ray of light parallel to the principal axis after reflection passes through the focus. So all these rays are parallel to the principal axis. So after reflection they all are meeting at F. So where is the image formed? It is formed at focus. So the first point we'll discuss is nature of the image. Nature of image. We'll discuss 3 points about the image. Nature of the image. Whenever the rays actually meet at a point, the image is real image. And the real images are always inverted. Inverted means upside down. So real, the image formed is real. Why? Because the reflected rays are actually meeting and the real images are inverted. Inverted means it is upside down. The second point which we'll discuss is position of the image. Position of image. Where is it formed? It is formed at focus. So the image is formed at principal focus. The third point we'll discuss is size of the image. Okay, the object very big, quite large like the sun, but the image formed is the bright spot of the sun, that is point image is formed. So the size of the image is point sized. It is point size image. Okay, so these are the 3 points when the object is placed at infinity. Now let us bring the object closer. So the second position of the object will be object beyond center of curvature. Now let's place the object beyond center of curvature. Okay, so this is the concave mirror. Let's draw the principal axis. This point is called as the pole, and you will draw the figure in such a manner that the F should be midpoint of P and C. Now the object could be seen. So let this is the needle shaped object which is placed beyond the center of curvature. Okay, a number of incident rays could be drawn from it, but here we will consider only two rays. Two incident rays, will reflect them according to the rules. Wherever the reflected rays meet, there the image will be formed. So the first ray we will consider is parallel to the principal axis. The first incident ray from the object is parallel to the incident ray, and we know that according to the rule it passes through focus. So a ray of the incident ray we have drawn parallel to the principal axis from the object, and we know that it passes through the focus. The second ray, either you can pass it through the focus and make it parallel to the principal axis, or you can pass it through the center of curvature. Let us pass it through the center of curvature, and we know that whenever a ray of light passes through the center of curvature, it is reflected back along the same path. So this is one of the reflected ray, this is the other reflected ray. The two reflected rays are meeting at this point. So the image is formed here. Wherever the reflected rays meet, the image is formed here. Okay, now the first point about the image. What is the first point? Nature of the image. Again, the two reflected rays are actually meeting. So the image is real, and real images are always inverted. So the image is real and inverted. In the figure also you can see that object is above the principal axis and the image formed is below the principal axis. It is upside down. So the image is inverted. Okay. The second point is position of the image. Where is the image formed? Between principal focus and center of curvature. So it is formed between F and C. Between the principal focus and center of curvature. Now the third point is the size of the image. From the figure you can see that the object is smaller than the image is smaller than the object, and whenever the image is smaller than the object, we say that the image is diminished, or you can write down smaller than the object. So the image is diminished, that is smaller than the object. So this is the second point. Okay, these are the 3 points whenever the object is placed beyond center of curvature. Okay, few more object positions are there which will continue in the next video. Okay, so this chapter in 2 or 3 videos will complete it. If you like this channel, kindly like and subscribe to it. Thank you.